What's your August, my name. The Honorable is live with me this morning, and our head of news and current affairs, Israel Adebi, is also live. Gentlemen, good morning, happy new week.
All right, good morning, Paul, and how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
Very well, and it's good to be back to do what the Honorable has to say this beautiful week. And every time it's always about you too, and that is saying good morning to you. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the listener. No reason for us to be here if you are not out there. But mighty glad to be here because we know you are there. Israel.
Well, good morning, Honorable. Hope you had a good weekend.
Oh, yes, I had a good one.
Arsenal didn't play, did you?
Arsenal playing.
Oh,
You want on Saturday now?
How can you even forget
You want,
that?
you want to push
like you
your
had
neighbor
a
aside?
famous win
Arsenal
over the
are back
weekend.
on top of the tree. Call that name with respect. Back on top of the tree. All right, quick one. It was also a weekend that was full of politics and a lot of political events in different parts of the country. And the most notable one was the gathering in Ibadan. That's the opposition summit that they held in Ibadan. But again, it's just an aspect of what went down in Ibadan that we'll talk about today and link it to some other things. What I can say for free is that we are in an election season. It is here, the season is here, and we cannot run away from it. And in this season, sometimes you hear people beating the drums of war. But that is exactly what we do not want in this period, in this time. We can have an election, a very interesting one, a very keen contest, a robust one without that element of violence or promotion of the same. Now, at that summit in Ibadan, the host of the summit and the governor of Oyo State, Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde, said something that elicited a lot of reactions and mixed reactions. I should also add. He alluded to the wet here and the wide, wide west. And for those who understand politics and they are quite aware of history of politics, of election in Nigeria, you understand what wet here. I mean, I think that happened in 1965 or thereabout. That was when we had the wet here saga. And the entire Southwest was almost up in smoke. No thanks to political violence. And it was one of the things that inadvertently led to the first foray of the military in governance in Nigeria, because in 1966, we had the first military coup. I think that region didn't recover from the fallout from wet and the wide, wide west. And it was one of the grounds that the khaki boys used when they struck. And they made their first incursion into governance in Nigeria. And for Sheyi Makinde at the weekend, trying to remind us, going by what we know of his public record, Sheyi Makinde was not born when it happened. I was far from being born when it happened. But of course, one thing about history is that history would always recall events as if they happened now. So that it was to that extent that a lot of people felt that that was making one remark too much. And that was also making one remark that was too far off, that he shouldn't have made such a remark. He shouldn't have reminded Nigerians of that past that we are not proud of. We don't want another saga of wet here. We don't want to have a modern day wide, wide west. And to that extent, a lot of persons have said, as a man who is a sitting governor and a position of massive respect and immense responsibility, maybe he should have been more restrained and he should have been more selective of what kind of words to use or what kind of remarks to make. It also takes our mind back to, I think it was in the build-up to the 2003 presidential election, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo made what is now an infamous remark about elections being do or die. You would expect that an eminent statesman of his stature, because before former President Olusegun Obasanjo became the civilian president in 1999, he was military head of state of Nigeria from 1976 to 1979, when he handed over. That was when we had the Second Republic. And because of that single action, being the first military ruler in Nigerian history that voluntarily handed over to a democratically elected government, that automatically made him a statesman, an international statesman. And to now see that over 20 years after then, within the context of a democratic process, because election is a democratic process, he made the infamous statement of saying do or die. That statement has been roundly condemned. From that time, still over 23 years, we are still referring to it today and labeling it an infamous statement. The reason we do this is because we don't want anything that is suggestive of violence or armed struggle or promotion of it in any guise in our elections. We like our elections to be robust. We like them to be intense when they can be, but we always want them to be devoid of violence. So any remark that promotes any form of violence or shape of violence stands highly condemnable. Then we also saw a video that has gone viral here in Edo State, purportedly about an aide of the state governor, I think Emmanuel Egogo, who alluded to members of an opposition party, they will be arrested and handed over to the police. And he also purportedly called a political leader a stupid man. I think that also stands condemned and highly condemnable. Those kind of statements. Maybe it's insensitive. You don't make that kind of statement. And within the democratic setting, you don't sound like you are intolerant of opposition. What is democracy without contest? What is an election without contest, without competition? And I don't think he has acted truly like the aide of the state governor. Because the state governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, participated in an election and won an election without resorting to violence or promoting violence in any way. And since he became the governor of Edo State, he has been focused on infrastructural development. I don't think you can say it's a man who promotes violence in any way. So if an aide of his purportedly make those kind of statements, I think you should say he's on his own. And that statement, those remarks stand highly condemnable. And if it was in the heat of the moment or a comic remark, that was comedy taken too far. Because we are in the election season and where one becomes more sensitive and more careful in the words that you use. We don't want that. We want to build up to an election that we will find very interesting. We want to build up to an election that at the end of the day we should be saying, yes, this one goes down in annals as one of the best elections in our country. We don't want to look back in time and remember the elections for infamous statements and for any appearance or expression of intolerance. And therefore, us on this side, that is the people now, the people who are not political actors, let us also be wary when certain statements are made. Let us not take a cue, maybe an unintended cue, or a misinterpreted cue to think that what this man has said is a call to action and a negative action. No, we don't want that. What we want is a good election. What we want is a process that will be free and fair at the end of the day. We don't want a process that will snowball into violence, promotion of violence, or that will further divide the country. No. And I don't think that should be encouraged. And anybody that has done anything like that, such remarks, such statements are highly condemnable. And all men of good conscience should speak out in one voice and condemn such statements, because we are building up to an election. It's an exercise, a democratic exercise. It's not an exercise for division. It's not an exercise for intolerance. It's not an exercise for promotion of violence and the likes. Israel.
Well, thank you, Honorable. I think we start with what democracy is and what foundation democracy rests on. And I say that because at times we misinterpret what a democratic system ought to be. For me, I strongly believe that democracy is about choices. And that's what makes it a better system of government than any other across the world. A system that does not impose on the people what the people should want. It's a system that allows everyone to be a player in the process. And so you cannot say, oh, everybody must queue behind this candidate. Anyone has the freedom to choose wherever they want to sleep. And that's why I think democracy is beautiful.
Because somebody is not queuing behind the candidate that you think is the best in your opinion, then they should all be led to Golgotha.
As a matter of fact, everyone has a right to any candidate they want to support, and that's why most times when people call on this platform, we let everybody have their own expression.
Exactly.
As long as it is in line with the instant laws and codes that regulate our operations as media outlets, because we almost not have the same view. It's an anomaly to expect that everyone will say the same thing. Everyone in a democratic system have the opportunity to make their choices, to sleep or to align with whatever democratic philosophy they want to align with. We cannot mandate people, force people, or force down a narration down the throat of anyone. It's not allowed, because it's democracy. It's a political system that allows for multiple opinions and multiple players on the field. And that's why we have different political parties. Regardless of how small a political party is, you still have people who subscribe to the ideology. At least I don't think we have ideologies in our political parties. We still have people who are members of those political parties because they believe in whatever that political party stands for. Many have been advocating of late that Nigeria must continue to give expressions to every political party to find their voice. We can't queue in one direction. Everyone must have their voice. I'm saying this because it's the foundation for what democracy ought to be like. It's the foundation. And if that foundation is there, it also means that we cannot be intolerant of other people's opinion. We cannot be intolerant of other people's views. We must understand that in the game of democracy and in an election, there must be winners, there must be losers. It's not possible for everyone to win. And it's not possible that everyone will lose. Some will win, some will lose. And in that victory, you must be magnanimous. In losing, you must also be magnanimous to accept what the outcomes are. And build your own political base to be able to contest. So I'm saying that because all those who have expressed views that suggest that they are not tolerant, they are not democratic. Because a democratic system is tolerant to other people's opinion. Tolerant to other people's views.
Exactly.
You can't force it on them. So let's have this at the minds at the back of our minds, that everyone has the freedom to choose. They must not choose what you choose. There are some political parties or political actors in Edo State that I know where the brother belonged to APC, another one belonged to PDP, another one to Labour.
Members of the same family.
Members of the same political family.
Of the same family, yeah.
With different political leanings. So that is what democracy is about. And those who support these individuals must understand and respect the fact that that is what democracy calls for. You don't force it on the people. You don't load it on the people. I go to the gatekeepers this morning. Those who are gatekeepers in the process must also uphold the democratic tenets.
Exactly.
They must subscribe to it. They must be seen to uphold it at all times. Because that is the only way society can survive. You can't survive if you don't subscribe to those tenets of democracy. You're going to say something.
Oh, yes, because now I love the fact that you've talked us through what democracy is and it's all about. We are in the election season. We should also understand what election is and what election is not. Election, simply put, is a formal group decision-making process whereby a person or all of a population or group votes to choose an individual or multiple individuals to hold public office or other positions of responsibility. Now, different scholars also have different definitions that echo these sentiments about election. But one thing is certain, election is not a war.
It's not.
Let's not make it one. It's not wet here. It's not Wild Wild West. It's not do or die. And it's not about being intolerant to people who differ in opinion.
And security agencies should do their work. When you find people that come out with this kind of narrative, I think you should do your work, invite these individuals, investigate those comments that come out from their mouth so that we don't degenerate into chaos as we build towards the election. The media should also play down on some of these people. It's not everything you report. If you see someone that says something that undermines the democratic process, I think you play down on it. Don't give that person that significance to make the all the headlines across the country
For the wrong
reasons. So we can collectively hack together in the interest to safeguard our democracy. It's election season. The best of narrative is what we want to hear. As a matter of fact, if there's anything people want to hear, is how the price of Gary will come down. I think that's what concerns
It's
the
how
people.
life will become
How
better.
life will get better for the people. It's not whether you are attacking this person or you're calling somebody a stupid person. Why? That's not democracy.
And there was a high-profile personnel that was also present. That was present when that particular statement was made, and even the Nigeria Police Force had to release a statement.
Well,
concerning
the
that.
CP was there when Egogo made that comment,
Emmanuel
and
Egogo.
he didn't make any comment. And some say that that's wrong. The CP should have said something
Should have
because
said
he should have
something,
condemned it on the spot. But good enough. Eventually, the CP through the spokesperson for the command released a statement saying the CP does not subscribe to it, and that this comment he has made will be investigated. Whether not comedy they do, I will not be comedy, but it will be investigated and action should be taken, which I think is fine. And we
Alright.
should condemn it.
0705-512-9881 or 0705-5727-881, 0705-512-9881 or 0705-5727-881, 0902-672-2592, 0902-672-2592. Some couple of sweeping statements made during the course of this weekend, and that's what we are looking at.
That's what politics is.
It's the season.
Yeah, clearly. So we should expect more of this. But as always, and as always, keep it clean. In spite of the fact that there are always differences, we have different political parties, but expect our politicians to conduct themselves in good manner, and also the aides.
Exactly. The supporters of
The
this
supporters, the aides, they should